I always wanted to make my own indie game, but I never thought it would have happened the way it did. I always imagined I'd come up with a brand new universe from scratch, but instead, me and my team asked a different question. How can we utilize my art style? In other words, what kind of game would work best with my low poly characters and the same stylized visuals? And how can we find out early on whether or not this game is actually worth making? Eventually, we found our answer. But first, let me give you some context on this project. We're still early on, but I am the co-creator and art director. I essentially guide the vision behind everything you see and hear in the game. I do have a team which includes developers, a game designer, and a few very talented interns who are just starting out in the games industry. We're using the Unity engine. I know, Godot exists. We could have been just fine with Godot 2, I agree, but I not only already have a bunch of Unity experience thanks to Animation College and VR Chat, but I also have access to senior Unity developers who are experimenting with building complex gameplay systems. And I've been the technical animation lead on a Unity project for a few years now. We'll deep dive into the juicy technical aspects of the project in this video later, but let me explain why I'm so obsessed with this low poly art style and why it's such a great fit for indie games. Because while most big budget games are moving towards more complexity, more detail, and more realism, I wanted to go in the opposite direction. I kept asking myself, how can I simplify character creation to the point where they not only look great, but can also be made super quickly? That thought led to something big. I ended up creating a tutorial series that's now slowly approaching 1 million views. We've had hundreds of submissions from complete beginners who not only recreated my character, but started building their own original characters in this style.
Oh god, the sensitivity. Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's when I realized that low poly is a superpower. It's fast, lightweight, fun, and it's not just me who can model in this style. It's me and my community. Not just to use the characters I've already made, but potentially allow my community to have their characters exist inside the game too.
Yeah, no, I'm getting an error code when I try to join.
Oh no, I died! In fact, I've already hired an artist who's learned 3D modeling from my low poly series. Ghoul is an amazing freelance artist who we're working with to rework some of the characters in a style that kind of fits our setting better, and I cannot recommend Ghoul enough, and I'll leave their info in the description below. But this art style and community focus became core to our project. Before we even knew the genre or platform, we knew this would be a big selling point for the game that would make it stand out from the competition. And with this as our foundation, we started experimenting. We built multiple prototypes. Some lasted a week, some lasted a few hours before we realized they just didn't work. We tried things like Titanfall style third-person wall climbing mechanics, Crash Bandicoot inspired platformer gameplay, even some chaotic sandbox Gmod style ideas that just got out of control. Even though we were using placeholder assets, basic animations, and half-baked mechanics, we wanted to test every possible gameplay idea we could to try to find something that would actually be fun to play and excite players. Oh, someone called a vote.
I said it's Matthew.
Yeah,
I don't know how to actually click any of these.
Why? I didn't do shit. I mean, just...
So you have rat in your name.
Oh my fucking god. But through all that, we realized two important things. The first was that this game has to be multiplayer, because making a truly fun 4 to 8 hour long single player game requires a massive amount of time and resources. Every moment has to be designed, scripted, and carefully crafted. Single player games are awesome, but are just too ambitious for our first go at this. And I know this firsthand. For the past 2 years, I've been working with a team on a game called Ivor. I started out by helping with animation and reading stuff, but ended up working as a technical animator on the project. I've absolutely loved working with that team and getting to bond over that project. I love seeing it evolve over time. It's been really inspiring, but seeing that process up close made one thing very clear. Single player games are incredibly demanding, where every single element has to be engineered.
I can see my crack.
The second thing, though, was that we had to stay flexible. There are way too many examples of indie developers getting stuck in what I'd call eternal development hell. I don't want to call anyone out, but you've seen it before. I genuinely admire a lot of these creators' work and dedication, but if there's one thing I've learned from watching all those YouTube deadlocks while working on Ivor, it's that game development is not a linear process. There is never a clean path from point A to point B. It's always a complicated zigzag of a process trying to find what works and what sticks. Most of the time, it leads to burnout, frustration, disappointment, or a dead end. But that's obviously something I didn't want for me or my team. So very on, we made a decision. We have to stay flexible and we just have to adapt. We cannot get attached to our initial ideas just because that's what we planned. Instead, we need to actively seek external feedback, stay in contact with other developers, keep playtesting and adjusting, and most importantly, avoid building something that never actually gets released. Because honestly, I'd rather release 5% of our original vision than get to 95% of our vision and never ship because it's broken broken, buggy, or worst of all, just not fun. So what are we actually making then? There's one particular multiplayer indie genre that's been blowing up recently. If you look at the top charts on Steam over the past year, a lot of games fall into this category. These are the so-called friend slop games.
All right, how do I punch?
Left click.
Does it have controller support?
Left click is not punch for me.
Oh, it's because you just gave yourself away. You're actually a victim. That was like such a dead giveaway. And games like Repo, Peak, Lethal Company, Content Warning, you know the drill. Everyone is trying to make their own version of this kind of game.
But as much as I would love to play a friend slop game like this with my friends, I wanted to make sure the genre we picked would be a perfect fit for my characters and art style. And considering that Love-chan is the yandere mascot character of my channel, we thought it'd be really fun if we designed a game that respected that and let players explore that in the actual gameplay. So for all those reasons, we actually decided on going with a different genre.
Social deduction games. Games like Town of Salem, Werewolf, and yes, Among Us. I particularly love how the 3D version of Among Us uses voice chat, by the way. There are some amazing clips online. These games do a few things really well. First, they give you a reason to come back. You get better over time by learning winning tactics. It's kind of like a multiplayer chess, but more sus. Second, they lower the barrier to entry. You don't always need to gather up a full group of friends every time you want to play. You can just jump in and play with strangers super quick. And there's also another aspect I really like. As silly as it is, I adore customization. Having highly unique character designs in games and playing as a character you really identify with is always such a huge selling point for me. And it's particularly fun in social deduction games where you can roleplay and get into a character if you'd like.
Egg.
Oh, look at she's doing the cookie
meat,
game.
Nope. One of you better not cut me in line. I already got cut in line by one.
mushrooms.
I think you have bigger concerns than
nori,
getting cut in line
tofu.
in this game. However, full character customization in 3D is very complex. That's not something we're even aiming to think about in the current iteration of the project. But even something simpler like selecting different characters or eventually allowing players to bring in their own characters, whether through modding or even through some kind of integrated system, that personally immediately clicked with me. That makes so much sense because I'm already lucky enough to have a huge community of artists creating characters in this exact low poly style. So that really feels like a natural direction. Here's some early footage of me just messing around on the prototype with friends. We had a lot of fun, though even finding bugs can be fun when you're playing with friends.
Hung yourself.
Me when I go to the torture room gets tortured.
classic.
I do want to highlight that this is still the very first iteration of the gameplay though. Through playtesting, we're identifying the most fun parts of the game that we should really double down on, as well as some features that feel redundant. For example, while the current demo was super fun to play with friends, we also have to keep in mind that the majority of players in games like this usually play with random people. That's a constraint we're going to need to address in the next iteration of development. But still, I'm super open to your feedback on our core gameplay, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, let me know what similar games you've played recently, whether you played them with friends, and what you felt those games were lacking. A big reason why I'm making this video though, and while I'll be sharing more of this journey moving forward, is because I know that a lot of you are learning 3D art, low poly, and character creation, with the goal of making your own games. And I know how intimidating approaching game development is as a complete beginner. You have a vision in your head, you want to bring it to life, you want other people to experience it, and that's my motivation too. So my goal for this series is just to show you the real world process. All of it. The good parts and the messy parts, and all the mistakes I make and the team makes. So that you can see that it's okay to get things wrong and have things not turn out the way you imagine. That's not failure. That's just the learning and ever-evolving game development process that is just so messy. That's honestly the exact reason I created my low poly character series in the first place. I was always told that character modeling was just one of the hardest things to learn in 3D. During my 2 years at animation college, we were never taught how to create our own 3D characters because of that. That was something reserved for 4-year programs. And yet, I found a way to create my own original characters that anyone can follow. It doesn't take months of work, and not only are these characters fun to make, but they're super popular in social media and look fantastic. But before I made any of these characters, I spent years posting animations on my other YouTube channel, mostly using characters made by other artists or just TF2 models that are built into Source Filmmaker. Maybe I would sometimes just reskin existing characters, but when I started teaching animation on this channel, people kept asking me not just how to animate, but how to create their own characters. And I genuinely didn't have an answer because I was just as lost as the people asking me. Hours in the kitchen to make soup for everyone. Oh, it's Tim.
It didn't even combine.
It's Tim. It's Tim. Tim is the killer. Go call a vote. It's Tim.
But after thinking on it, I wanted to give it a shot, so I started researching. I studied a lot of different art styles, looked at games I was playing at the time, games I grew up with, and eventually I landed on the style of Mega Man Legends. This is something that deserves its own video. It's a unique and iconic style. But what mattered to me was this. It felt approachable to make a character in this style, like something you could realistically tackle in a weekend without any background in character design. And that's when things clicked. I ended up developing a workflow that lets you create characters in this style in a matter of hours without needing years of college level expertise or art experience. The full tutorial series is available completely for free, and I've also got a ton of useful resources like Blender guides and downloadable character models that you can also grab for free as well. On top of that, I've been continuously refining this series and adding a ton of extra content in the premium version of the course. You can check out all of this via the top link in the description below. If you're curious about my full course, I've actually left an exclusive discount voucher for you below. It will only be available for a limited time, so make sure to use it today. But I hope you found this video interesting and maybe a little insightful. I'm planning to keep sharing our progress and all the decisions we make along the way, and I am so excited and open to hear from you, so please leave a comment below if you have feedback for us. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you'd like to catch future devlogs in this series. I can't wait to show you what we have planned for the next iteration. Thanks for watching.